What's up, gang? Welcome back to DizDad TV. On today's episode, we're back with another reaction video, and we're checking out the Disney Plus and Star Wars series Ahsoka. This is the first episode. If you want to check out any of my reactions for other Star Wars or Marvel content, or any theme park Imagineering videos I get up, you can find it all on the homepage of the channel. Links in the description below as well. Appreciate you all checking that out. We are back. Been a little bit of minutes since we haven't any content here on the channel. I appreciate y'all hanging with me, and welcome back if you've been here before. But last we left off, we were watching season 3 of The Mandalorian. Left off, I guess, with episode 5, and was enjoying that series for the most part. Yeah, kind of ups and downs, with season 3. Not the best of the 3 seasons, I don't think, in my opinion. But it was having all sorts of computer issues, really even during those episodes of Mandalorian I got up. Got episode 6 recorded, and computer kept locking down, shutting down in the editing process. I actually got part of episode 7 recorded, oddly enough, and just could not get through any type of work on the computer whatsoever. A lot of back and forth getting that fixed, and finally got that all figured out this summer, and ready to rock and roll with some technology and computers. So glad to have a working, functional computer again at this point. I had a few theme park trips this summer as well, so maybe we'll do a future video on that. But really looking forward to this Star Wars series and Ahsoka that we've heard about for a couple of years now. And I'm hoping we need a home run series from Disney Plus. Secret Wars this summer. Again, if you guys are Star Wars, Marvel fans, kind of crossover. Secret Wars was not the best. I think it started off okay, but it did not end out very well in my opinion. So I'm hoping Ahsoka can kind of correct that. But I think the biggest question for me about this series is, and it's really kind of been the scuttlebutt, for months leading up to this, is what's this barrier entry for this series going to be? And just by that I mean, what kind of background, whether it's hardcore, middling Star Wars, whatever it might be. What kind of knowledge base do you need to have to come into the series? Do you need to have watched Clone Wars and Rebels? How much are you going to miss out on? I have watched both those animated series. If you have not, I highly recommend it. It does take a commitment. Clone Wars is, I guess, 7 seasons. Rebels is 4, so it'll take you some time to get through both of those, but I highly recommend it. I throw Clone Wars in there just because I know this is going to be kind of a continuation of Rebels from all indications we've got, with the Rebels characters being here. But I think for the Ahsoka character, Clone Wars is just hugely important to watch. I know we've seen bits and pieces of her in a couple seasons of Mandalorian and Boba Fett. But that's just been, I guess, about 3 or 4 episodes, I guess, here and there. But to really kind of know her, I think you need to see Clone Wars. I mean, I think obviously you can get by, but she just plays a vital role in the actual, the Clone Wars story. We see her from a very young age, joining the Jedi Order, Padawan to Anakin, and obviously Anakin, Obi-Wan, huge focuses of that series. But we see Ahsoka throughout, and several episodes are focused solely on her and kind of what she's going through and her trials and all that. So I highly recommend again watching that series. She actually, I guess season 5, midway season 5, I think, she actually leaves the Jedi Order, so she's off Clone Wars at that point. And until we get the long-lost season 7 of Clone Wars, I haven't seen her for, a season and a half, essentially, of that series. And then she comes back, I want to say, like the last 4-ish episodes of season 7, basically like right before Order 66. And she survives, spoiler alert, she survives that. It's actually a really great lightsaber battle she has. I think second or third to last episode. I won't give away, if you haven't seen the series, I won't give away who it's with because I don't want to spoil that for you. But great battle she's got there. She survives Order 66, and kind of off, during that gray time of the Empire, middling rebellion kind of gradually building up, and then we don't see her. Rebels comes around. She's not the focus of Rebels. This other small team that we're introduced to, which we're going to again see in Ahsoka. And she shows up in Rebels, I think somewhere around season 2. And even then, we don't even see her at first. And she pops up in the occasional episode. She does have some very important episodes in Rebels. And she's also kind of a nice sounding board for 2 of the Rebels characters, Jedi Kanan, and then his Padawan Ezra, so we've seen the trailer. If you've seen the trailer for this series, maybe or don't know about Ezra, but there was a hologram of him from the trailer. So I'm sure part of the series is going to focus on the search for him. But we see her again at the very tail end of Rebels. It's a bit of a flash forward to the end of the rebellion. The Empire has been defeated. It's after a big battle in Lothal. And part of that battle, Ezra and Thrawn, who's been teased for now, I guess, 2 seasons of Mandalorian leading up to this, and I assume is our big bad for this series. Both of them disappear into space, and we see Ahsoka and Sabine, part of the Rebels team, go off in search of Ezra. So, how far, and I guess that's kind of your 3-minute recap of Ahsoka's entire history there, a little bit of a cliff notes. But I assume this show is going to pick up somewhere after Rebels, in a little bit in the future, what kind of time has passed. Looking at the trailer, we've seen there's a couple of younger characters part of the team. We've seen them age up a little bit. So, how far in the future is this going to be? How far past, the Mandalorian Boba Fett time frame, kind of where is this going to fit in? And, but again, I'm hoping, at least for those of you that have not seen the animated series, whether it's one or both of them, we get, I don't know if it be in flashbacks or backstory, discussion, whatever it might be. I'm hoping there's some type of recap, kind of what's got us to this point. It's impossible to cover, 11 seasons of 2 shows of animation into this, but I'm hoping at least the important parts that tie into this are there for everybody, for that matter, just so folks aren't lost, because I want to see as many people get into this as possible. I know Dave Filoni, who's going to be leading this series, is going to put a ton of care into this, with it being Ahsoka. It's kind of his baby. So I know he's going to be all in on this. And just really looking forward to it. Hoping for a good show. Again, we can definitely use that after Secret Wars this summer. And just really looking forward to checking this out. So all that being said, let's just go ahead and check out episode 1 of Ahsoka. Are we getting a crawl? It's not like the film Crawl, but it's a difference. Sinister agents. Always about. Plot is underway to find the lost Grand Admiral Thrawn. So again, this is kind of obviously picking up a little bit of a recap from Rebels. Ahsoka Tano captured one of Thrawn's allies. Morgan Elsbeth. Okay, remember her from season 2 of Mandalorian? Had a nice little fight there when she and Djarin were helping out that village. Like the Crawl inclusion there. A little bit of a backstory. I'm hoping we need a lot more than that to kind of catch us up. At least that kind of sets the stage for what's happening, kind of where we're at.
Yes, sir.
Is that an old Imperial ship?
They're Jedi. There's an old Jedi clearance code. They say they're here to see the prisoner.
That can't be Ahsoka.
I want to meet these Jedi.
He sounds a little cocky there, doesn't he? It's probably not going to end well, is it? Mon Calamari looks so ridiculous in that uniform. This with the hands. The steam effect always makes for a grand entrance, doesn't it? Oh, these are our 2 characters from the trailer that we saw.
Quite a surprise meeting Jedi out here. You put on a good show, but I don't buy it.
Oh, this is not going to end well.
Just some overconfident Imperial trash who just push their luck too far.
Yikes.
Allow me to show you our identification.
You don't need to see our identification. Oof. Yeah. That was doomed from the start.
We are no Jedi.
Wow. Quite an entrance.
How many targets are there?
2, but they split up.
Here comes one of them. She's kind of scary looking. Of course, so is he walking down that hallway like that. He's all calm, cool, and collected. Very measured. Obviously, so much like the Darth Vader scene from episode 4. And there's Morgan Elsbeth. Yeah, Ray Stevenson. It's a shame he passed away. Doesn't get to see this come to fruition.
Balin, you are true to your word.
And well paid for it, Lady Morgan.
Force wielder for hire. Alright. Good intro. Nice and clean, crisp. Got a few villains there introduced to. I like the intro of those two. I don't know if they're going to be Sith or what kind of characters they are, but I like that intro for both of them. Again, a little more backstory as far as what Ahsoka's up to. Oh, this is a cool shot. We've seen this a lot with The Mandalorian especially. Them leaning very heavily, you know, kind of that whole Western motif, maybe a little bit of samurai here. You're just waiting for Tumbleweed to go blow across. But I love the whole, you even get the music in the background. So our first full look at Ahsoka. Again, I like the Rosario Dawson casting. We saw that in the trailer, but it's still pretty cool. I love she doesn't even hold the lightsaber. She just spins them around with the Force. So we knew she was looking for a map of some sort, trying to find Thrawn. I don't know where she's at. It wouldn't be a Jedi temple. It reminds me of a Jedi temple, but I don't know what this is. Interesting. It's almost like a puzzle here. There was an episode of Rebels. It was the last season. It was like midway through, maybe towards the end. But it was a Jedi temple. I remember it's Ezra, kind of a similar deal. There was carvings and a painting, and he was doing very similar to what she's doing. Twisting things, aligning the images and visuals in a certain way to unlock. This was trying to get into the Jedi temple. It just reminded me, thinking back to that. Alright, now what's happening? Very Indiana Jones-like here. That's supposed to break? Oh, it's a sphere like the carvings we're holding. Now if a big giant boulder comes after, that'll be a little much. Oh, she's got company.
Us.
He brought friends. I love the look of these droids. Both kind of the profile, but then the cape really sets it off. A fair amount of action right off the bat. She's gonna fall back in that hole. Oh, she's just gonna jump down. Oh, surprise! Oh, that's nice. She's a cool character, but I always have loved, so cool with the dual lightsabers.
Initiate self-destruct protocol.
Doesn't sound good. And she's... I guess you need to run in that case, don't you?
What would you rather I did?
Just keep flying
Good grief. That's quite a self-destruct. I mean, I know there was, what, 5 of them self-destructing, but good night. That's crazy. This guy's pack a punch.
Good thing
Oh, look who it is.
Well,
Didn't even catch that when she said his name.
Following standard Jedi mission protocol.
for Yang, the Order doesn't exist anymore.
She's got a point.
Let's just say I didn't follow standard Jedi protocol.
That's great. It's so cool to see this droid. We saw quite a bit in Clone Wars, and then I think even in Rebels a couple episodes. But he's been around with the Jedi Order for eons, I think, helping the young Padawans build lightsabers. That's so cool to see him with Ahsoka. I'm pretty sure he was in, because I think he was with Ezra I have to go back. It's been a bit since I've watched Rebels, but I know Clone Wars, quite a few episodes. Quite a bit of blaster damage. It's like Hera coming in, doesn't it? Yep. That's who it is. Hera looks pretty good. A little bit different from the animation, but that's to be expected. But for the most part, pretty spot on.
Perhaps one of them was once a Jedi.
That would be interesting.
Yang, make a copy of this recording. Run a match on their lightsabers.
That's where coming him around comes in very handy, because he's going to know all about the history of lightsabers built in the Jedi Order.
Thrawn.
That's not possible.
Oh, but it is.
If Thrawn survived, does that mean Ezra?
I hope so.
Yeah, this is what I mentioned. Tail end of Rebels, we saw Thrawn and Ezra basically disappear in a giant ship blasting off into space.
It's never a straight line with you Jedi, is it?
No, never.
The Defense Council is requesting an update on the incident.
Oh, is that Akbar?
I'm not sure she'll want to help.
Who's that gonna be?
For Ezra.
This is still a little surreal, seeing Ahsoka and part of the Rebels team in live action. This would be Lothal.
Who sacrificed himself to liberate our world.
Is that Ryder?
This monument,
It sounds just like him and similar look.
may their courage and
I
commitment
think that
never be
is.
forgotten.
Ryder was a character from Rebels that featured pretty regularly, was there on Lothal helping to try and... Oh, it's the mural from Rebels. And of course Sabine's there.
Sabine Wren.
Nope, she's not there, is she?
Get out there and say something.
What?
Cover for me.
Just vamp. Oh, that mural looks so good. Oh, it's the highway out of Lothal. That's great. We see this highway quite regularly in Rebels. Is this Sabine? Oh yeah, the helmet's painted, so you know it's gotta be her. This is great. I love the music choice here. So far, nice little music snippets here and there. This music's perfect for her in this segment. Very unique. We've had kind of bits and pieces. I've caught hints of the Rebels tunes, even kind of OG Star Wars film music, but...
Oh, that was today.
That didn't sound very convincing, did it? Yeah, she got the Loth cat painted on her helmet there.
Stand down, Commander.
She speeds up.
Is she gonna stop?
Shaking his head.
She's not stopping.
The R2 unit. It's great. She gonna jump? Nope. Oh, that's crazy. She gonna control it? Yeah, she got it back. Respecting the game. She's a great character. Mandalorian, weapons expert. Oh, it's Ezra's Tower. Again, featured prominently in Rebels. Ezra, who's young Padawan. This is kind of his hideouts for quite a bit of Rebels. Oh, that Loth cat looks great. Oh, is that a Mandalorian helmet? I think that is. As I said, she was a Mandalorian. Looks, if you can see the markings of the Mandalorian helmet, it's got to be hers. Although Ezra collected all sorts, I think I even see Stormtrooper helmets in the background. Ezra collected all sorts of helmets. So it was usually littered with all, troopers, what have you. But would have to believe that's Sabine's helmet.
Sorry for disappearing on you. We're not really family, but you're like a sister to me.
Yeah.
May the Force be with you.
See, now I wonder where is that recording supposed to be from? Because in Rebels, he was a little bit younger than what we're seeing there. So I don't know if that's just him aged up and they've kind of done it that way. But again, the two of them, Ezra and Sabine, were kind of the young ones of that group. They were very much brother-sister-like towards the end, as they kind of grew up with that team, with the rebellion.
An ancient temple built by my ancestors. The Night Sisters of Dathomir.
Oh, it was a temple, but it was the Night Sisters temple. That's interesting.
You're a witch.
I gotta look.
Send this one to the planet Lothal.
Oh, we're jumping right into this, huh?
Ahsoka Tano's former apprentice is on Lothal. You're looking for Sabine Wren.
So they know about Ahsoka, but they know about Sabine as well. Interesting. And then Master and Apprentice there. Now I'm curious why Sabine is not with Ahsoka. Yeah, it's got to be Ryder. I guess we'll see in the credits.
Was that yesterday? It slipped my mind.
Well then.
Okay, those two are not even looking at each other. What happened? Barely a glance. Good grief. Wow.
I think I know how to find Ezra.
A little bit of reaction there. Again, love the music there. Alright, that had to be her bunk. You can see the artwork if they'll show it again. Yeah. That's cool.
Witches. Great. This is...
Witches. Great.
I take it these patterns have meanings.
It's a little thing, but it's very cool how they got the furniture just popping up out of the floor like that.
Don't you ever get tired of moving from one place to another?
I go where I'm needed.
Not always.
Wow.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
This is something.
Then I should have made a good one.
Yes. You should have.
Gotta believe we're gonna dive more into this. The two of them and what has gotten to them to this point.
The map stays here.
Okay.
She's taking it, isn't she? She's totally gonna take it.
The construction and overall design are executed exactly the way I taught younglings to build a lightsaber.
So definitely Jedi trained.
Yes.
Okay.
Baylan Skoll. He disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars, like so many Jedi.
Yeah, I'll say like most Jedi. I don't know that name. If you guys do, comment down below. I don't know if I should know it.
If both trained in the Jedi arts, they will be formidable adversaries. For you alone. Of course.
The two of these, that sideways glance.
Sabine, you're going to want to hear.
She's gone. Hey, she cleaned up the furniture, right? Get another highway shot here. They obviously had to include this highway shot. Oh. You knew they were coming. And she brought help.
But you and I both know Sabine gives you the best chance of reading that map.
Yeah, she does.
Mentoring someone is a challenge. I bet your master found you difficult at times.
She knows Anakin was her master, doesn't she?
Before the end of the Clone Wars, I walked away from him.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Sometimes even the right reasons have the wrong consequences. What do we do then?
Yeah, there is a lot to unpack. I mean, we're getting more and more as this episode goes on, but the relationship between Sabine and Ahsoka, obviously she was training her. It sounds like Ahsoka wasn't somewhere to help out in some way. I gotta believe we'll dive more into this the rest of this episode perhaps and beyond, but I'm really curious what has gotten to them to this point. She got it figured out. Okay, a lot like the temple. Kind of very puzzle-like. And there you go. There's your star map. Ooh. The Lothcat knew something was there. See her Mandalorian skills coming into play a little bit. A little hand-to-hand combat. Destroying the evidence. Oh. It's getting away, isn't it?
We have a problem.
Indeed. She can get our Mandalorian gear. Is that a lightsaber?
That's too bad.
Nice. You'll see these two go at it. I'm curious how far Sabine got in her lightsaber training. Now she has, and again, I don't know how long her and Ahsoka were together, but she did go through training with the Darksaber, which we can talk about at the end of the episode, but she's got experience. I guess we're going to find out how much.
She's at the old communications tower.
You better hustle. Yeah, this one looks a lot more polished than Sabine does. She's kind of flailing a little bit. Oh, that's a cool shot. Oof. Time to go. Oh no. Oh, whew. We know she doesn't die, right? This is probably going to be the end, but we know she doesn't die. That's great they did that. You knew that was the end of the episode. Yeah. Good one, Dave. That was a good one. Kind of the classic cliffhanger. Is it still a cliffhanger? There's no way she's dying in the first episode. We've seen the trailer. We've seen her in bits and pieces and other parts of the trailer. But that was a good episode. I'm not mad at that. It's still kind of a bit surreal seeing animation come to live action. And we've had it in bits and pieces, with Bo-Katan in Mandalorian, Cad Bane, back Mandalorian or Boba Fett, I should say. And obviously with Ahsoka popping in here and there, but getting some of these Rebels characters. And again, we just had Hera in this one and Sabine, and even the droid's name is escaping me right now, so I should know it. But, and we had Zeb back in Rebels. So we still have Chopper, Ezra at some point, Thrawn, sure a few other characters. I'm pretty sure that was Ryder from Rebels. Still running the credits right now, so we'll see. But it was a good episode. I'm really curious, for those of you that didn't see Rebels, didn't see Clone Wars, especially Rebels, are you lost at this point? I don't want to say this was a bland episode, but I don't feel like they got too heavy into it. There was a little bit of a recap, kind of where things were kicking off with the crawl, which was kind of a nice touch. And we got bits and pieces of story of Ahsoka and Sabine there. So even if you didn't know these characters, I'm still kind of wondering, even having seen those series, kind of what happened with these two. So I think even if you didn't see him, I think there's enough meat there that's, I think we're all kind of in the same place, so to speak. But again, if you didn't see Rebels, didn't see Clone Wars, but especially Rebels, comment down below where you're at mentally at this point. Do you feel like you're missing something? Because I don't think they gave, the Mandalorian helmet was something small that's, I don't think is vital, because they even mentioned that she was Mandalorian. So I don't think that's a kind of a major thing. And there's little Easter eggs here and there, the trooper helmets in the background, the rider character, that was there. So again, I don't really think there was too much there that's, you're going to miss out. I think there are going to be little tidbits that those that have seen the two series are going to pick up on it faster. But I think as the story itself, it was a nice, I think, self-contained story, kind of picking up. Again, we've seen Ahsoka and Mandalorian and Boba Fett, but especially those episodes of The Mandalorian where she was dueling with Morgan Elsbeth. And we knew she was looking for a Thrawn. So we knew that name, and we'd heard it mentioned as well, even in last season of Mandalorian. So there have been those teases. And I guess if you haven't watched Mandalorian, you didn't get those teases. So hopefully you've at least watched that. But we've had that kind of building up to this point. Really kind of the meat of this episode, while we got the introduction, we got these two force building characters, which I like the introduction of those two. I think that was pretty well, it was simple, but it was well done. I like basically the opening intro of the show was those two. Again, very reminiscent of episode 4 from Star Wars, when we see, Darth Vader and boarding Leia's cruiser. A little bit different circumstances there, but I like how that was done. But really kind of the meat of this episode was the whole back and forth and hints at this relationship between Ahsoka, and I'm seeing the recap here, the recap of Ahsoka and Sabine's relationship. And again, at the end of Rebels, those two left together, knowing they're going off looking for Ezra, but also to do the Jedi training. And somewhere along the way, those two had a falling out of some sorts. We hear, Ahsoka talking about Sabine being difficult, Sabine, firing back, during their conversation, hey, you weren't there when I needed you. I gotta believe there's still a lot there to unpack, I think, as far as what they've told us to this point. So that's very interesting. One thing I mentioned when the lightsaber came up, going back, I believe this was season 4 Rebels, Sabine, Mandalorian, she actually did have the dark saber at one point, which might be a little bit of a shocker to you all. She actually handed over to Bo-Katan at some point during Rebels. So she wielded the darksaber, and she actually had, similar to Jedi training with Kanan and Ezra, she went through, working on wielding the darksaber. So very similar to, Jedi training, and of course she was with Ahsoka. So that battle there she had at the end was not her first rodeo with a lightsaber. And again, I'm sure she had some of that with Ahsoka. So Sabine's got a very interesting backstory, kind of where she's coming on, being Mandalorian, having the darksaber, and then coming over, with the Rebels. And there's a whole lot of Mandalorian background with Sabine to unpack, but then also having this Jedi side, kind of a unique contrast there with those two. But all around is a really good episode. Production value was really well done. Lothal looked great. Again, the highway scene, again, straight out of the animation and the series. Everything, the lightsaber battles, that we had a good bit of action in this episode. The first 5 minutes, Ahsoka and those droids there at the temple, the witch's temple, Darmir, and then even the two Force characters, which I don't know confirmation that they're Sith by any means, so I'm not sure. We know that one of them was a Jedi at one point, or Jedi trained. Nice having that history there with the lightsaber and the hilt building. So we know he was Jedi trained, and obviously he's got this apprentice. Where does their allegiance lie? He even mentioned, kind of in passing, but it almost seems like they're kind of, I don't know if the Empire or the First Order building up to that is necessarily or Thrawn's even their cause, but he even mentioned, money and what they could buy. So really curious to kind of get their ambitions, their goals. Like, well, what are they about? Are they just there as lightsabers for hire, or how does that work out? So I'm really looking forward to checking out episode 2. Again, I'm hoping we don't get this thing that has been very common with Disney Plus series, Star Wars and Marvel alike, where the first episode or 2 is spot on and just really good, and then things kind of hit the rails like episode 3, 4, 5 and they're on out. I'm hoping they can kind of keep this up from where we've built off at this point. There's, again, still a lot to unpack. Ahsoka and Sabine. We've got other Rebels characters out there we haven't even met yet. Obviously, they've teased the Thrawn and Ezra, 2 characters of which you haven't seen Rebels, you don't know much about, but I'm sure we're going to get more information in follow-up episodes on those 2. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. A lot of fun with it, and definitely looking forward to where we go from here. But you guys comment down below. What were your overall thoughts, impressions of this episode? I can't find too much fault with this. I didn't really see anything to kind of pick apart, whether it was story or how it was shot. I'm assuming they used the volume with this, but it looked much better than some of the recent volume productions that we've seen from Star Wars and Marvel especially. So it didn't seem overdone. Some of the landscapes were great. And again, it was like the animation just jumped on the screen into live action. Everything about this was perfect. And it was definitely a true continuation of Rebels. And something, obviously we've jumped forward a few years, but it definitely felt like a continuation of Rebels. So I definitely appreciated that as somebody that enjoyed the Rebels series. So, but all that being said, I'm looking forward to episode 2. I can't wait to check that out, and I hope you guys can as well. But until next time, I will see you for episode 2 in Ahsoka.